Hello and welcome to another edition of the Time Flies podcast. I am, of course, your host, Dariel. And before I introduce my guest, if you guys are watching this on YouTube, thank you very much, but you guys can obviously tell who it is. But if you were listening to the podcast on Apple and Spotify, before I introduce my guest, I'm going to give him the illustrious introduction. So bear with me. Finally, Mr. Marvel has come back to the Time podcast. Yo, what's good, yo? My boy, I got my boy Rainer with me here. What's good, bro? How you doing?
Hey, come on, man, baby. We good. We here, man. We here. That's all. That's my saying. All 2022, 21. We here.
We here.
Until we not. So I'm gonna say we here forever. You feel me?
I feel you. Yo, you don't know how long I've been thinking about doing that. I was like, yo, what would be a dope introduction? I know you fuck with wrestling, so I'm like,
that's perfect, bro. That was the most perfect intro I've ever gotten, bro.
I'm gonna do that again when we get me, you, and Jay for fucking Cuddy. I'm gonna do that shit.
Yeah.
Yo, Jay, what up? Shout out, boy. Okay, yeah. So today's episode, we have something very special coming to you guys. As you can tell from our backgrounds, you can see Rainer's poster right behind him. You can see the poster up behind my big ass head. But we're doing something. It's kind of like the episode that I had with my friend Mike, where we rank the Kanye albums. But today we are ranking the Spider-Man movies.
Yes, sir.
Since Rainer was my illustrious guest on the review of Spider-Man No Way Home, I call him Mr. Marvel. He knows all things Marvel, even though he thinks he doesn't. I needed someone with the Marvel knowledge, with the Marvel takes, with the Marvel behind the scenes, because I know you got it, my boy.
Come on now. I'll be trying. I'll tell you every time. I try. That's all I can do. But we here.
we here. So we're gonna be ranking all the Spider-Man movies. Yeah, man. Honestly, do you want to get into it? You want to get right into it, boy?
Let's get right to it. Let's get right to it.
I bet. So you know what? I'm gonna go first because I know your list is gonna be different. And let me yeah. So I'm gonna go mine. I'm gonna give you my reason why I think it's the number where it is, and then when you go, I'm gonna let you cook. You feel me?
Right. Wait, we going 8-1?
Correct. We're going from the worst to the best.
My man, let's go.
I bet. Okay. So, and we're only ranking live action movies. We're not including Into the Spider-Verse, no animation. We're gonna keep it live action.
Spider-Verse is top tier, by the way. We all know that. So don't think because it's not in our rankings that it's not in our rankings. That's because that movie is top tier. But when part 2 comes out, we're gonna be back. So
big fact. You know what? I actually just saw Into the Spider-Verse fairly recently. I want to say like a month or two ago.
Amazing.
Caught me way by surprise,
bro. And it's only a part 1, so it'll be a 2-parter, and they're going into different universes. Rumor has it they might have a live action universe. That will be fucking insane.
Oh shit, really? That's crazy.
But we go wait. Now
this is what I'm talking about. Everybody, he knows the shit, yo. I didn't even know that. You just blew my mind with that shit.
Oh, man.
But you try. All right. So since we're doing live action movies, there's only 8 movies. So we're going from what we personally think is the worst to the best. So my number 8 Spider-Man movie, Raina, you already know what it is. Spider-Man 3, dog. Spider-Man 3. I don't even have to think about it.
Right to it, let it fly.
Right to it, my boy. Right to it. All right, man. God, yo, where do I start with this movie, man? Okay, me and you, we've talked offline fairly, like a good amount. We've always just traded text messages regarding music, movies, and obviously Spider-Man is always one of those things. And we talk about Spider-Man 3. I know you hold Spider-Man 3 a little bit in a higher regard, but man, this movie was just messy in my eyes, bro. It was just messy. And then I understand, I think everybody knows by now, like the story behind the movie. like Sam Raimi going into Spider-Man 3, he still wanted to keep it with like I think only two villains. And then the studio was like, yo, like, nah, we need Venom. Everybody wants Venom. Like, we need to throw that in there because of money, all this shit. So they didn't let Sam Raimi go with his screenplay. And Sony was like, yo, we need Venom. We're going to throw him in there. We don't care what you say. So that's why you get Harry. That's why you get Sandman. That's why you get fucking Topher Grace as Venom. Stop, please. And that it was just way too many villains, man. Way too many villains, way too many storylines to balance. And it was just messy, man. And obviously I rewatched it going into this episode of the podcast. And I will give you this, Rainer, because you've always said this. You've always said that it's better than what people remember. I will give you it is a little better than what people remember. It is a little better than what people remember, but it's still the worst movie. it's, still, it's still the worst movie, my boy. It's still the worst movie. And if I'm getting super technical, which I don't want to, but one of the major things that came across, they were like the scene transitions going from scene to scene. It felt very, very rushed and messy. I don't know if you remember that. I don't know if you caught that feeling, but for me, that shit felt very like, okay, we're on to the next scene. And it didn't flow, it didn't feel natural. It was just like it felt a little rushed. That's a little technical, I'm sorry, but
I mean, it's a film, you know, you gotta get into all that detail. So
big facts. Another one was finding out Sandman killed Uncle Ben.
I hated that too. I hated that.
I
hated that more than Venom, but continue.
You hated that more than Topher Grace's Venom?
Yeah.
Boy. All right. And then the idea that they had of having Harry bump his head and have like memory loss to put him in like the back burner of the movie, yo, that shit felt OD lazy, bro. That shit felt so lazy. It was like, we're juggling so many things. Like, what are we gonna do? Let's put Harry to the side. It's like, what? Now, I will say this though. I will say this. I was very interested in how the movie began and how like you felt the animosity from Harry to Peter. I liked it. I was like, ooh, like damn, I wish I could have seen a lot more of this. Um, I really liked it. Yeah, like I said, I wish I would have seen that a lot more. Um, and also like Spider-Man 3, like I remember the movie starts and then like within like the first 5-10 minutes, it gets right to it. It establishes Harry as like the new Goblin. It's like the movie starts and then you get caught up with Mary Jane and her play, Peter supporting her, and then like you see, and then I think maybe one of the next scenes is like Harry just like getting the gas chamber and like getting all brolic and shit. And I remember being like, oh, okay, like I guess he's Goblin now. Like, okay, cool. I know they hinted at it at the end of part two, but it was just something that popped out to me. Um, I mean, that's top of my head. Off top of my head right now, that's what I got. So do you have any rebuttals? I don't know, wherever you want to go, my boy.
I mean, fair. Everything you've brought up is fair, and those are like a lot of the things that I dislike about the movie too. Just I guess not enough to have it at the bottom of my ranking.
Oh my what is your worst? What is your worst Spider-Man movie? My bad.
You're gonna see.
Yeah, keep cooking.
But you know, like you said, we talked about this movie often. You know, I defend it. My main take is when you rewatch it, it's nowhere near as bad as if you've only watched it maybe one time and just go by like the conversations that happen online, just like the bad conversations. I feel like the movie started off really strong, and I told you this too.
Word.
And even Sandman becoming Sandman, one of the best scenes in the trilogy.
The transformation.
It's just like, what happened?
The transformation.
Yeah, it was just like very emotionally driven for just like a CGI character. Like the music, the score was really good. Like what got him there, the reason he got there, and just like what I guess his driving force was in the movie. And even in No Way Home, it was the same thing. Like his daughter, that's why I loved him in it, even though he was barely in it. It was consistent with what we saw him last in. The Harry bumping his head, it's pretty dumb too. But I kind of just thought about it when you mentioned it. The one thing that is pretty cool about that is how it's the one thing that made him very reminiscent of the original Goblin, because he quickly caught back on. I remember when he's messing with MJ and Peter comes in and he's like, yo, da da da, and he's just, and then I guess the waitress asked him like, yo, is the cake good? And he's like, oh, it's so good. Like, it's stupid, but it's him playing that same schizo shit. Like, he's playing dumb, but I know what's popping. Like, I know it's good. You don't even know it's coming. Like, it was that same vibe, and that I fucked with. Like, I like that. Topher Grace, I'm a fan of him. He was hot off the press. Like, it was bad casting because that 70s show, like, it was like the biggest show at that time. He left the show to go do this. Obviously, like, you do something to hopefully propel your career further.
Wait, he left that 70s show to make this movie?
Yeah. Have you watched that 70s show?
Nah.
It's a great show.
Yeah, I know he's in it, and I know it has like an all-star cast, but I didn't know he left the show for this movie.
It's a great show, but like the last like 2-3 seasons, he wasn't in it. He left to go do Spiderman, and his career kind of took off, so he left. So like, of course, he's not gonna turn that down. It's like, especially coming off Spider-Man 2 and just like, and to play Venom. But yeah, like the producers shoehorning Venom in there kind of, it really sucked. The design wasn't that good. It wasn't terrible. And then like to kind of just have him team up with Sandman just so Peter and Harry could make up, like that was like kind of cheesy. The transitions was another thing of your point. Like, I don't remember it too much, but I think I get what you're saying, especially when a movie has so many things kind of like forced in there. You kind of feel like you got to rush through things.
Yeah.
So like certain scenes will be bam, 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 couple beats, on to the next thing. Like, what are the 3 beats that are going to get to the point of this scene so that we can go on to the next one? So like, I definitely could see that, because it wasn't even a long movie either. Like, it was nowhere near 2.5 hours. It's probably 2 hours, maybe a little over 2 with credits. So like, that, if it was 2.5, I feel like they could have done a little bit more.
Yeah, I feel you.
Emo Peter.
Oh my God. How did I forget about that, bro?
It's stupid. Me and you talked about it, where I'm just like, Sam Raimi plays the cheesy shit a lot, but like, I feel like he dragged it there with that one. And
I really almost forgot about Emo Peter, dog. Bully Maguire.
I'm surprised you bring that up, but
I forgot about Bully Maguire.
One, like, when you ask me like who I feel like was the best, like Peter, the best Spider-Man, and one of the things I brought up with Toby was that I never felt like he was fully a confident Peter. And I think Peter gets to that place where he's kind of still struggling, but he's not too like fucking in the shadows or like super shy, kind of like how they had him play out in this. So like, for that to be confident Peter really blew mine. Yeah, like it pissed me off. But
oh man.
Yeah, man, like I would have loved to see part 4. I'm positive they would have let him do his thing after they saw how people reacted to this. But yeah, man.
Yeah.
Definitely not my bottom movie.
Hold on. Before you get into it, let's real quick. I kind of wanted to piggyback a little bit what you said about the Venom in Spider-Man 3, how like the suit and everything.
Yeah.
We talked about this a little bit in the Way Home podcast. If you're listening and watching, go to that podcast by Boy Rayner. We review No Way Home. Go check that out. But anyway,
yeah, it's a great one.
I remember you saying, I remember we were talking about Venom and how like I mean, I remember I said that like I don't like any of the Venoms of any of the movie portrayals so far because I feel like they never got them right. Tom Hardy's weird. Topher Grace was whack, and especially with Topher Grace, like the suit, it wasn't intimidating. It was like he was like a little more brolic than the regular Spider-Man suit. He was
Yeah.
a little more brolic, and I was like, that just looks like symbiote Spider-Man. That doesn't look Venom. Venom is like this OD Brock Lesnar times 20 size fucking dude.
Yeah.
And I was like super disappointed. I mean, everybody was, but that's
Yeah.
right.
I did like his my bad. I'll let you finish.
Go ahead, go ahead, cook. Go ahead, I'm gonna let you cook.
I liked his face. I liked his face. Like
You think it's
there's a
cute?
scene where I guess I forgot what Peter does, but he turns around, he screams, and like the face looks really cool.
I think
I'm like, damn, that's a really good shot of him. Like, I really like that. But like the rest of his suit, like you said, it's just symbiote Peter. Like when the shit peels back, he looks stupid as hell. Like it's just Topher Grace being Topher Grace.
yeah.
It's just weird. Like he had little fangs, but yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't great. And you mentioned something interesting. You were saying how like you were pretty sure how like if they let him do a part four, they probably would have given creative freedom because of part three being even though part three is like made a ton shit of money.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but it was off of hype. So you said that they more than likely would have given him all the creative freedom to do part four. Have you heard what part four was like supposed to be?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I remember.
I know a little bit, but go ahead, break it down for us.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember more of it, but like it was I used to be in the forums, bro, in the Sony forums, bro. So when it got booted, like when it was like in development, like people were talking about it.
I needed you on the episode, doggy.
Damn, I can't remember too much, but hopefully when
So what I remember is that I remember the opening shot. The opening shot was supposed to be rumored like him capturing all of these like kind of like B and C level villains. It was supposed to be like I think Mysterio. It was supposed to be I think Shocker and I think Vulture. Oh no, not Vulture because Vulture was actually the main villain of that movie, and I believe it was somebody else too as the main villain in part four.
um
Was it Black Cat? No.
she was supposed to be in it.
Hmm. Damn, it was Vulture and some. Oh, I think it was Craven.
I think you're right. I think you're right.
I think it was Craven.
Right.
I think it was supposed to be Vulture and Craven as the main villains. But that's the only thing I remember. And like I've seen like documentaries. I've seen YouTube videos,
Yeah.
and I've seen like sketchbooks and illustrations of what basically a storyboard of what it was supposed to look like. And I was like,
They're hard, bro. And you know what? Would have like I know freaking Raimi would have done Vulture really good because like villains were very much like a strong suit of his. Like Green Goblin. What more can I say?
Yeah.
Doc Ock.
Killed it.
I don't gotta say nothing.
Facts.
Sandman, because of the unfortunate events of the movie he was in, but I'm gonna stand by it, bro. Like how that movie started, how they set him up, minus the freaking Uncle Ben shit. I swear, I know that wasn't Raimi, bro. That couldn't be him. Or maybe it was, just for a way to like fully tie it in. But he was another great villain. But yeah, like I really would have loved to see what he did with Vulture, because Vulture is like another like he humanizes his villains a lot in the Spider-Man movies, and like how I would have loved to see how he humanized him. And just like even like the fucking the action pieces would have been ridiculous, bro. Yeah. Ridiculous, like just straight like flying. Like we saw what he did with Doc Ock just on buildings and on a train.
Yeah.
Like imagine what they would have done with Vulture. It would have been even like Craven. That would have been insane too, bro.
Yeah.
I would have loved to see it. And damn, I'm gonna read into it a little bit more so we can talk more about it. But I think there was more like about the story out there too. But
yeah,
it would have shaped up to be a solid film, man.
Yeah, I mean, we honestly, after No Way Home, all these rumors about Toby maybe getting part four, Andrew getting maybe part three. Sam Raimi is he directed into the Doctor Strange sequel. What's it called again?
In Multiverse of Madness.
Yes, he directed that. That's gonna make a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, you never know. You never know. Marvel might throw the bag, be like, "Yo, we fucked up. We love you. We want to bring you back." You never know.
We'll see, man.
All right.
Toby's about to be 50, man. So we'll see.
Fuck, I know, right?
Yeah.
All right. I'm done with my 8th Spider-Man movie, Spider-Man 3. I got that. Lock it in, my boy. The floor is yours, my dude. What is your 8th worst Spider-Man movie?
Off the bat, I struggled like with where I put this.
I think I know where you're
something
going.
else. Huh?
I think I know where you're going. Go ahead, though.
You know what it is, man. The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Oh, shit. The second one? Yo, I thought you were going to go part 1.
I struggled putting them in place. Remember, I told you that too.
Oh, my God. You put part 2 as your worst movie?
2, bro.
Oh, my bad. Hold, real quick. Again, audience, I should let you guys know, Rainer and I, we did not talk about our list before doing this. Everything is in real time. So my reaction you just saw was legit. Wow. All right,
yeah,
bro. Why?
So, I recently watched it. You and I talked where I was like, yo, I purchased them. I'm gonna rewatch them.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I saw them, but I do want to see. So off rip, I already told you, like, you've in your 8th movie talked about Harry. In my 8th movie, I'm talking about Harry.
Come on, man. Don't do my mans like that, bro.
Dude was trash, bro.
No, he wasn't.
He was trash, bro. Every scene he was in, I just want to be my father. I didn't want this. And then when he became Goblin, oh my God. Horrible. Design, horrible. Acting was horrible. Like, he just wasn't it, bro. He wasn't it.
So you're going both. You're saying the actor was bad and also the way they portrayed Harry, the character, was bad.
Yeah.
Oh, damn. Damn.
I think it was like kind of in the right direction, especially like after. Have you played the Spider-Man game on the PlayStation?
Nah.
Well, in that, like, the movies and in that game like have a lot of similarities. In that game, Harry was sick, just like in the movie.
Facts.
And Norman was trying to save him. And the movie was flipped. But yeah, like, I didn't like his design, I didn't like his acting. Him and Peter's chemistry wasn't really good. Well, Andrew Garfield, at least, it wasn't really good. That's my number. I had to get that out the way. Electro, it's not good.
You don't like Jamie?
I love Jamie Foxx, especially like after No Way Home, bro. Like the way how he got to just be Jamie Foxx as Electro, like that was super cool. Design was not good. Again.
Damn, son, you shitting all over this movie, dog.
Design was not good. Also just like how they made Max Dillon like a dweeb, and then like also like he was just like fanboying over Spider-Man, and it was just weird. It's just like they're like, what? Like, this thing has saved you. And I get it, like he was invisible everywhere else in his life, and Spider-Man made him, I guess, feel special. But that alone kind of just felt like a silly reason for him to kind of like, it was like he loved him so much, but then he turned on him so quick and became just like this super villain that wanted to kill Spider-Man and team up with this nigga who wanted to kill Spider-Man because it's his friend who didn't want to give him blood to help save. Like, what? It was just a mess, bro. It was a mess, bro. I was watching it. I'm just like, oh my God, what is this? This one is weird because and I don't know if I shared this with you. I think I shared this with my other boy, B Todd. Shout out to B Todd if he listens to this. He listens to the first one. He loved our
Hey,
conversation.
shout out, yo. To appreciate the support, yo.
Yes, sir. New York City and Amazing Spider-Man 1 and Spider-Man 2 were two completely different characters.
Facts.
Like it just felt like a whole different world. And I was just like, yo, like New York City is a character in Spider-Man movies, and New York City is a character because you play Spider-Man anywhere else and he's a completely different person. So like I kind of was in and committed to the New York we got in the Amazing Spider-Man 1. So for it to like just switch over with really no really clear direction as to why it was more like a traditional New York City and everything.
Yeah.
It just felt weird. I didn't hate it. Like it was cool to see New York that way in the movie, but it was just like that switch was just weird to me. You know how I feel about the shit with his parents, what they did in this one. It was just
it wasn't
like,
great.
It was silly. Like again, Amazing Spider-Man 1, brought it in, I was committed. I was like, okay, I like this. And then in 2 is just like, huh? And then like when you put me onto that deleted scene, I was like, oh my fuck, this would have been the fucking worst. I would have had this as number 15 on my list. And this only is.
Yeah. Damn. I can't I'm not gonna defend that. That's just bad. I didn't like it. I mean, it's good that they didn't incorporate that in the original movie because obviously it's the deleted scene, but I still can't defend it.
For sure. But you know, like as much as I hated the things I mentioned, man, like Andrew Garfield really found his Spider-Man and really delivered him in this one. In Amazing Spider-Man 2, I felt like he really became the Spider-Man that he wanted to be.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
And like, I loved him. And his Peter Parker was even different in this one.
Big facts.
And it was such a huge shift from 1 to 2.
Yo,
that's like in a lot of things. Like, you know, I mentioned New York City, I mentioned Peter Parker himself, and his Spider-Man, he dabbled in it in the first one, but like in this one, confidence, it was through the roof. Like Peter and Spider-Man, like you can see how this kid is Spider-Man and how Spider-Man is this kid. Like you can see it clear as day. The relationship with Gwen Stacy, I know you and me agree 1000%. That's probably the best like couple.
Yeah.
All the Spider-Man series.
Well, don't you think Toby? Didn't you say on the No Way Home podcast that Toby and Kirsten? Well, yeah.
I was gonna say, I know previously I mentioned that I liked their relationship.
Yeah.
And it still stands. Like their troubles and their growth and a lot of that, like to me, like when it comes down to like the writing and all of that, it's still them. But like on screen, when you're just watching, if you can watch like clips of it, like these two, their chemistry, man, was like just ridiculous.
Yeah.
It almost didn't seem like they were acting. Like that's how good it was. Like they can just get into a room and just bounce off each other, improvise. They probably improvise every one of their scenes. Like that's how good their chemistry was.
Yeah.
Gwen Stacy's amazing. The freaking action in this movie is spectacular.
Yeah.
The CGI is probably the best.
Yeah.
In any of the Spider-Man movies.
Big facts.
Like the web slinging is insane.
Facts.
The way his suit kind of just like flaps, where he's just like skydiving, like all that, like the colors, like amazing. Like the slow motion, like the visual effects was ridiculous.
Yep.
So
I'm with you on that.
big plus. Like I have it bottom of the list, but like there's a lot of big wins in this movie. So like, you know, like for me to have it at the bottom, I had to say like a lot of the things that I love about this movie, and I want to give it like just as much credit as I'm giving it like shit. But yeah.
All right, bet. So before I give my seventh worst Spider-Man movie, the reason why I don't have the Amazing Spider-Man Part 2 as my worst movie is there's one reason. You know the reason. I'm not gonna say it right here. I'm gonna wait until Spider-Man 2 comes up within my ranking. I'll give you the reason why it's not my last one. But you already know, right?
I'm trying to remember, but I'm gonna keep it.
All right. So you'll figure it out.
But besides the obvious that you freaking hate Spider-Man 3,
Yeah,
I knew that was gonna be last. So that's the one
no,
thing I knew for sure.
I think everybody knew it. Even people that didn't even know I was gonna do this podcast knew I was gonna do it. I was gonna have Spider-Man. All right, bet. So I'm gonna go with the seventh worst Spider-Man movie out of all the Spider-Man movie. I'm going with The Amazing Spider-Man Part 1.
Okay.
Now, there's a lot going on with this movie. So, man, I can appreciate what they tried to do. Let me start off with that. I can appreciate what they tried to do. This was a reboot 5 years after Spider-Man 3.
Wait, I just remembered. I'm sorry to cut you off. I know why you don't have Spider-Man 2 last. I got it. But go ahead.
It's all good. It's all good. But yeah, so The Amazing Spider-Man Part 1 was 5 years after Spider-Man 3 that they rebooted it. I think the reason why the reboot was so fast was because it might have been something with Sony losing the rights. Like if they didn't make a movie within a certain amount of time, they would lose the rights, so they had to fucking reboot it.
Yep.
So I can appreciate what they attempted, but man, that movie was just I don't even know if I want to say that it was too much of a swing. It was just weird, bro. It was just weird. Andrew Garfield played this hipster kind of emo Peter Parker, skateboard with dunks, and I'm just like, bro, like and I remember the last podcast we had on No Way Home. I said that he was a loser. You checked me on that big time. You were like, yo, he was never a loser. And I agree with you. He was never a loser in the comic books and stuff. But that's how they portrayed him in this movie again, as a loser. He's getting bullied by Flash in the beginning of the movie. He's a photographer. He gets his ass whooped by Flash in the beginning of the movie in like the little courtyard. And I just didn't like it, man. And I mean, oh my God. One of the biggest gripes I have is that after Uncle Ben dies, they only show him looking for his killer. They never find out who the killer is. I'm gonna let you dwell on that, my boy. All right. Anyway, so yeah, bro. Rewatching it, I was like, wait, we never find out who Uncle Ben's killer is. Like, I mean, we do, but we never see him have that confrontation with him. That's what I mean.
That is correct. Yes, I was about to say. That's why I was like, they do, but yes, you are correct in that.
Yeah, bro. Bro, check me. If I say something wrong, check me, please. But yeah, they never show him confronting his uncle's killer. And I'm just like, yo, this is a reboot story. You're obviously telling the origins of Spider-Man. If you're going to incorporate the Uncle Ben dying and the great power, great responsibility, you need to show Peter confronting the killer. Like that's an automatic. And they don't. So I was like, okay, that was a
huge part of the journey.
Yeah, it's a part of the journey, man. And as far as Andrew, as far as his portrayal of Peter, for me personally, like I do think he's a good Spider-Man, actually. I think he's a good Spider-Man. But his portrayal of Peter, that's a different question. And I didn't really feel it. Like there's glimpses of it throughout the two movies. And in part one, I do get a little bit of feeling of like he's really encapsulating the character of Peter Parker, but I only get glimpses of it. And he never really convinces me. Yeah, man, it's just like it just wasn't. It's not even that it wasn't what I expected. It's just like I didn't like the tone of the movie. I didn't like what they went for. And I do like the whole like relationship that he had with Captain Stacy. That was interesting to me. That was pretty cool. I like, and Dennis Leary. I always really liked him as an actor. He's a really good actor.
Yeah, that dude's legit. I like him.
Yeah, he's legit. I was actually a little upset that they killed him off because I would have liked to seen that relationship build a little bit more. If I think of something else, I'll bring it up. But honestly, I hit my big points. Andrew Garfield as Peter Parker. That was a big one. I mean, we talked about the relationship between him and Gwen Stacy. Um, that's all I got right now, man. I wish they would have. I wish they would have toned it down with the intensity. I feel like that movie was very intense, kind of dark, very moody, and
Mhm.
I wish that they toned it down a little bit. I mean, but again, they were trying to differentiate themselves from the Toby movies, so I get it, but it just wasn't for me. So that's me, bro.
Yeah. I'm gonna get right to mine because we're gonna continue this conversation because my number 7 is the Amazing Spider-Man.
Let's go. Let's go.
we got we got a match. We got a match.
Big
Yeah,
facts. Big facts.
a lot of the same things you mentioned, but a big part of me kind of like appreciated that they try to really swing in a different direction. And like I said when I was talking about Amazing Spider-Man 2, like a couple of things that they laid the groundwork of or that they presented, I was in and I kind of committed to like I said, the way New York City looked. I don't know if I mentioned the thing with his parents. Like I was in on that. I kind of was because I was like, oh, I don't really know much about Peter's parents.
Mm.
This is pretty cool. But they didn't force feed you it. Like they kind of just let you know, okay, we're talking a little bit more about his parents here. So this is gonna be a part of his story more than it was before. Because in Raimi trilogy, I don't really remember them talking about his parents.
No, I don't think
Correct
they
me if
did.
I'm wrong, right? I'm not tripping.
No,
Like
I don't think so.
they probably mentioned something like that, but even like Aunt May was just talking about Uncle Ben. This Aunt May, when Uncle Ben passes, like she still kind of brings up his parents. Like you see his parents leave and things like that. So I was like, oh, okay, it's a little interesting. Um, didn't like Peter Parker in this one. And even something as small as like, you know, how I was talking about how in part 2, I feel like he figured out who and how he was gonna like portray this
Yeah,
character.
yeah.
Even his hair, bro. Think about it.
No, yeah.
His hair from 1 to 2 was just like it went from this droop to like man had like a nice little haircut. Whoop, like yeah, like I'm there. I'm confident. Like I'm Peter Parker, blah, blah. Like he's in love. Like he feels good. He's Spider-Man. Like he got it. So little things like that were like things that I'm like, damn, like even though it was a huge shift, it kind of made sense.
Bro, that shift from part one to part two in every aspect was just like, wait, what? What are we doing?
yeah, yeah,
It's part two is more poppy, it's more vibrant.
yeah.
Yeah, Peter Parker looks cleaner. He doesn't look emo. He doesn't look every aspect, bro, is like just like, you know what? We're going popcorn. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
The costume from part one to part two, bruh.
It was only like that shit was only like 2 years apart too,
Something like
I
that.
think.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you know, like you mentioned how like you really appreciated the costume in Amazing One. And like when you said that, I started thinking about it more and then I watched it. I was like, you got it right behind you. I'm like, damn, that's a really like that's a really cool suit. And in action, it looked really good because it really looked like and it went with the theme of he's figuring out who he's gonna be. Like
Super
it was,
homemade, bro.
yeah, like it's
Super
just
homemade.
like I just made this. Like I'm just gonna go out there. Like I'm gonna be this vigilante, this person, this sign of hope for New York City, and he just kind of just like landing in these situations.
And then in the part two costume, which is my personal favorite Spider-Man costume, but like it's just completely again, I like it, But again, the transition from part one costume to part two is just like, okay, we're gonna go popcorn. We're gonna highlight the red. We're gonna highlight the blue. It's like, come on, man. I wanted to see the journey, bro. I wanted to see the journey a little bit.
And he just starts off with it like off rip, like, and like, yeah, it was just like blam in your face type deal.
Part two starts off with him free falling, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
you know, like you were just saying, how like the little ripples in the costume when he was like,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
And they had the Hans Zimmer score. Like they went big, bro. Like you're saying, like they really went pop, like full popcorn. Like they had Hans Zimmer, bro. This man is one of the best composers
That's
in
a fact.
film. And they brought him in, and I was like, oh, this is dope. Like they got Hans Zimmer, like for real.
That's a fact.
But yeah, in part one, Lizard is one of my favorite villains.
Yeah.
So I was super pumped to see him in the movie. I wish they gave him a snout.
Yeah.
Really wish they gave him a snout. I liked how he talked. I liked like he was very much like Dr. Connors. Like he talked really smart and just like Peter. Like it was cool. Like I liked it. I wish his motive was a little different. Where he's just like he's gonna turn everybody to lizards. I wish it was more just like he wants to cure everybody in a certain way. And Peter kind of disagreed with it. And not just so black and white of, boy, you're not turning everybody into lizards. Like, I wish it was a little more different. Because that's just straight up like, of course, everybody's going to disagree with that. Like, no, bro, I don't want to be a lizard.
Yeah, I know.
I don't want people to be lizards. Like, I wish it was more like intricate instead of just that.
I feel you. Before
freaking.
Go ahead. My bad.
Again, the action spectacular. And two, they take it up a notch, but the action in this one is really good. The scene on the bridge where he saves the little kid, that was really good.
That was good.
And even like the suspense of like seeing the lizard and like just being worried about what the hell he's gonna do when because he's looking for the dude on the bridge.
Yeah.
Reminiscent of, well, No Way Home was reminiscent of it when there's the bridge scene with Doc Ock where you're just like, this dude just wants what he wants and he's not gonna let nobody stop him. Who can stop him? It's just that type of situation. There was that scene in the school, amazing. Peter like going into the bathroom, dude comes out the sewer, he goes away to put on his costume, his pose is just like really cool. The best Stan Lee cameo, I think, still to me, in my opinion. And in the school scene, like it came up on Twitter. I don't know if you saw it. I retweeted it where I think we did because we talked about it, I think, briefly.
I think so.
No, I can't remember because like I had this conversation with like a couple people where they're fighting in the hallway and Peter like crawls on him and like webs him. Bro, the way that shit looks, bro, I got the jitters because I was like, yo, he moved like a fucking arachnid, bro. That was insane. like he just moved they made a human move like a spider, and it was just sick. It was so good. Captain Stacy was dope. Peter meeting Gwen's family, like all those scenes were really cool. When he tells her he's Spider-Man, like a lot of those things were wins. I wasn't too crazy over Sheen as Uncle Ben. I wasn't crazy over the Aunt May either.
Sally Fields.
Yeah, but yeah, thank you for saying her name. I'm like, I know her name. I'm forgetting. They had like a bit of good chemistry, like Sally and Andrew. So like there were scenes that I did enjoy of them.
Yeah. You know what scene was dope?
Yeah.
Do you remember the scene in part one where Peter comes home late one night and he was supposed to pick up Aunt May, and then Uncle Ben is like getting in his ass paws because he's like, yo, you were supposed to pick her up and you have responsibilities and you fucked up. Yeah. And then Peter confronts them well, he confronts Uncle Ben, and he's like, well, what about my parents? And like how could you not tell me anything about them? Like, why are you holding so much information back from me? That scene,
I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, because when I was
boy,
watching it again, I was like, damn, this is a really good scene, and it's like you
it
don't
was like,
really see their like tension like that between Peter and Uncle Ben. Like there was little tension in the Raimi trilogy. Well, the first Raimi film, but
yeah,
it was very much just like a kid being like, I want to do this, and you're just being an annoying adult, just like that disconnect between a teenager and an adult, of just like an adult is just really trying to look out for you, and the kid is just like trying to do what they want. But this one was more of just like there was more depth to it, where
yeah,
it's just like you said, like, yo, my parent, like you holding for me too, like what's good, because that's when Peter, I think, figured out he had powers, and he was going through Oscorp digging and shit. Like, I think, did he have his powers already?
maybe,
No,
I'm not sure.
didn't. Wait, did he?
I think he did actually. Yeah, but yeah, because he leaves the house and he slams the door and the glass shatters. So he has his
Yeah,
powers.
and that's and remember, like right after is when he starts looking for the killer. So yeah, he did have his powers.
Correct.
So
Yeah,
like little shit like that. Like to your point, that was a really good scene.
that was a really good scene. Andrew did his thing. The acting was immaculate in that scene. I wanted to bring
Yeah.
this up before we move on. I almost forgot to bring this up, but another reason why the Amazing Spider-Man Part One is so low in both of our lists. Do you remember what I sent you? The deleted scene with
Oh yeah.
The Indian character.
Yeah.
I don't know his name, and I'm so sorry, but dude,
Yeah. That's the dude Connors was looking for on the bridge.
correct. So
Yeah.
okay, for the audience listening and watching, because you can also catch us on YouTube, you heard. But anyway, dog, the scene basically is Peter looking for the lizard in the sewer, and then they have like a little bit of a grapple, and then that character who works at Oscorp and used to work with Doc Ock,
Who also Peter runs into him at Oscorp as well.
correct.
So this character pops up several times, but continue.
Correct, correct. In this scene in particular, Peter's in a sewer looking for Lizard. He finds Lizard, and then they have like a little bit of a fight. Peter gets knocked down, and then that character comes out of nowhere, and he's like helping Peter up to the ground to help fight Lizard, and then he starts saying something. He's like, "Oh, did you think that this was a mistake? Like this was all on purpose?" Like basically implying that like you were supposed to figure out the formula to become Spider-Man. And I'm just like, what?
Nonsense.
I'm just like, what? I sent that to Rainer, and Rainer, like, I think he responded with like some mind blown emojis and like in a bad way. Yo, thank God again. Thank God they didn't put that in the movie, but it's his deleted scene, and if they would have done that, bruh. Yeah.
Nonsense.
So
speaking
all right.
Speaking of the sewer, another little cool thing was when he was looking for Lizard, and there was like mad tunnels.
Yeah,
he did all the
yeah.
webs.
Yeah,
he was just standing there, like that was super cool. Like
he was
those little things
where
they really made him. What happened?
When he was like chilling and playing a game on his phone, he was playing like yeah.
Yep. It's like all those little things that really made him like have those spider traits. Like I thought that was really cool. Like a lot of those little things. And I think ultimately, like that's what made me put this one over number 2.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So now that so number 7 is we're done with that. That's in the books. Lock it in, send it in. Let's go to number 6. What we think is our 6th worst Spider-Man movie. I'll go first, of course.
I'm curious about yours.
Our list is going to be different, and I'm more interested in hearing Rainer's, so that's why I'm going to give you the floor after. But my number 6 movie, I got Homecoming, my boy.
Homecoming? Oh, okay.
I got Homecoming.
Not bad. What happened?
Okay, never mind. My bad. Yeah. So my number 6 worst Spider-Man movie is Homecoming.
Stop saying worse though. Stop saying worse. Your number 6 ranked Spider-Man movie.
that hurts you? It hurts you a little bit? It hurts your heart when I say worse?
Kinda, bro. I'm just like, damn.
Bet. Okay, I bet. The 6th ranked Spider-Man movie is Homecoming. Listen, Homecoming is a good movie. Homecoming is a good movie, but I don't have a lot of nitpicks. It's just the rest of the movies are just better. I feel like the rest of the movies, in my opinion, are better except one. But we'll get to that later on down the list. So one of the takeaways that I have from this movie is Peter in Homecoming is so innocent, bro. He is so innocent. And rewatching it, I was like, wow. Like even when he has his powers, like Tom Holland and the character of Spider-Man and Peter Parker, the way he's able to portray just like how innocent he is. He has all these powers, but he's still figuring it out. And it's like it gives you a sense of like him figuring it out, but as a kid. Like he has a kid mentality figuring out how to use all these powers. That's the biggest takeaway. I really wanted to put Homecoming over actually Far From Home, like wherever that lands on the list. But Far From Home is a really good movie, so I can't do that. But
it's funny as hell because I had that struggle too.
Really? Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Michael Keaton as the Vulture.
Oh man,
kills it.
Kiss.
Yeah, facts. The scene. Do you remember the scene where Michael Keaton Vulture is driving his daughter and Peter to the prom?
Bro.
Legit, dog.
That's the one, bro.
That scene
is the one.
That scene is dope. That scene is dope. I love that scene.
Oh, everything dope. Like the lighting, everything was here, bro.
You see the wheels turning in his head. It's like, oh fuck, he's about to find out. No.
That's acting, bro. Yeah. That's acting. Like, oh yeah. Man, it felt like he had me by the neck when I was watching that scene, bro. I was like, yo, I almost couldn't breathe. I was like, yo.
Yeah, man. Michael Keaton killed as a Vulture. I also like the homemade Spider-Man suit that he wore in the movie. Like I remember he wore it in the end because Tony took away the suit. But I liked it. I wasn't mad at it. I was like, this is believable. I'll take it. The big ass goggles is for the eyes. I also really like the relationship that they established with him and Happy. Happy is like this. He's like a side character, but he kind of has an important part. And whenever he does come up in the movies, it's like, yeah, you get what he's trying to do and you feel the impact. So I do like how they established that relationship in the MCU's first Spider-Man movie. Honestly, man, like I don't really have a lot of nitpicks. I mean, Zendaya as MJ, Michelle Jones. I'm not mad at it. It's cool. I'm not mad at it. It's just like, okay, it's cool. Like it's a good movie. It's just the rest of the movies are just better to me, except for this one movie. Yeah. Except for one movie, all the rest of the movies are better than Homecoming, honestly, in my eyes.
When you say all the other movies, which ones do you mean? Like all the Tom Hollands?
No, I mean all the other movies that I have ranked ahead of Homecoming on my list are, except for one movie in that list, is better than Homecoming.
Better movies. Okay, I get what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah, sorry, I could see how that was a little confusing, but yeah. You feel me though?
Yeah, I got you.
All right. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Again, that's all I got. If I think of anything else, I'll bring it up. But go ahead, my boy. Floor is all yours.
Sure, man. Remember, we're talking about the same movies. We just probably have different rankings. So obviously, as we speak, if we think of anything when the others comes up on the list, like absolutely, we're gonna share. We're gonna tap in a little bit more, and yeah. And the other person might say something that we didn't catch on, like emo Peter, things like that. Like it's part of the conversation. My number 6 is gonna be Spider-Man 3. Because it is like the other movies are better, but it's better than Amazing Series to me.
Jesus Christ.
I shared a lot of my takes when Dariel brought Spider-Man 3 into the list. But yeah, I feel like it started off really strong. There was a couple things that were forced in there that unfortunately took the movie on a different course, but
Couple.
yeah, a couple things. Mainly being Venom and Emo Peter, which are both Venom related, if we're
Bully
being honest.
McGuire. When you sent me that text, I think it was earlier today or yesterday with the meme.
Oh
Sting,
yeah.
crying, my boy. I was crying, dog. That shit was like perfectly placed.
I was like, yeah, I need to find the right one. You said
That shit was perfectly placed, dog.
Sting noted.
I'm thinking about it right now. That shit is so funny. My bad.
um,
Yeah.
but yeah, man. Peter, Toby was at like a really comfortable place with this character, obviously coming off of the a super duper strong film in Spider-Man 2 and
Very interested to see where you
contender.
have that. Very interested to see where you have that one ranked. But go on.
Oh man. But yeah, man, like I just gonna keep emphasizing that it's not the terrible movie that it's put out there to be. I think it being a sequel to one of the top comic book movies ever really put it in a very difficult spot. And for it to have these elements in it that really took it in a different direction to what it could have been, really, really damaged its reputation.
You really got it over the both Amazing Spider-Man, though.
Yeah,
Damn, my boy. Yo, I respect you, dog. I respect you, dog,
yeah.
because I don't really know a lot of people that would do that.
the Yo, this is really funny. So you know the scene where Peter's on his bike and the new goblin like starts scuffling with him, the very first fight they have.
Yeah.
So when they were like promoting the movie, they released that clip like online. And like I told you, like this trilogy was like the foundation of me becoming like a super fan.
Mm.
I was downtown, like in Times Square, and I forgot. I don't remember how I found out, but I had heard that they released the clip. And you know the Burger King on 42nd Street, like by Port Authority.
Okay. Yeah.
There's a Burger King over there. They had computers where you could use the internet, but you had to pay like a couple dollars. Bro, I paid money to use that computer so I could watch that clip, bro. It
Done,
was
bro.
heat. It was heat, bro. That fight was dope.
Done.
I fucking
That
I
fight
hated
was
his glider.
that fight
I
was
hated
dope
his
though.
glider. It was a dope fight, yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Um,
His costume was trash.
because like for Peter, it was like, this is my best friend. I know why he's doing this, but I don't want to do this to him. And then he's ready. He's happy in his relationship. He's ready to propose. He has the ring. And then that gets thrown into the mix of the fight. Like he's trying to protect the ring, like, and which is a metaphor to him protecting his relationship and just wanting to be like, it was sick. Like some of the just like, and the shift to when Peter is like, all right, you really trying to kill me. Watch this. Like you see it happen. Like once the ring comes into play, he shifts. He's like, oh, I'm not fucking with you no more. Watch this. And he just starts like pulling his punches a little less and like really bringing his skills and strategy into the fight. And it really shows you just like, yo, I'm really the top dog here. Like,
Mm,
I'm holding back
mm,
because you are who you are, but let me
mm.
show you who I am. Like, you know, I'm
Right.
Spider-Man. Cool. Watch this.
Mm.
I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, man,
Um,
that goes back to what I was saying. Like that dynamic between Peter and Harry in the beginning of part three was it was good, bro. Like it was
yeah,
very interesting. Like I wish that was like I wish that was like pushed a little bit more along. At least they elongated that. I mean, like I really wanted
Yeah.
to see Peter and Harry on like very opposing sides for a longer duration. They just again, we know why they didn't do it, but yeah, man. My bad. Keep going.
Oh, I agree, man. I agree. And I think it was cool to see kind of Peter in the place that he was. He had the girl. He's comfortable being Spider-Man, but then to just get these wrenches thrown into it again, it was interesting to see him in that place again, but with different situations. And like we know that's Spider-Man's life, right? The battle between Peter Parker and Spider-Man. Like, how do I be both? Can I be both? Should I be both? Which one is really worth it? But like now his best friend is in the picture as literally the same villain that he fought in the first one, who was his best friend's dad. Like it was just like that full circle, that kind of like revisitation of certain things and just kind of like not finishing that story off, because you knew it was going to come back. This is his best friend's dad. Like, of course he was going to find out.
Yeah.
Like that was really cool. You had Gwen Stacy, who I wasn't too fond of in this one.
Bryce Dallas Howard, I think that's her name. The actress.
Yeah.
Cool.
But they had probably the best save that I've seen a superhero do in any superhero movie, bro. When the building is falling apart and he fucking comes through and saves her, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, bro. That's another one. When that clip came out, I left my house. I ran outside, bro. I was watching it on my computer. I had the little mouse. Press play, bro. The sound, the visuals, like rewatch that scene later, bro.
Yeah, I gotta rewatch it because
like
I gotta
just watch that clip.
Yeah.
Like the sound production on that clip is insane, bro. And then just like how he did it, like you really see his skill, like where he has so many obstacles and he's just like, gotta save somebody, gotta.
So that one save.
Yeah. Like, and it was nothing to him. Like he did it, and then he had his little festival right after.
Yeah, I kind of
like it was nothing.
I kind of wanted to touch upon that. Like that's something that I wish they dug into a little bit more. How Peter is embraced by New York in part 3. He gets a fucking festival. He gets is it key to the city, I believe, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, something like that. But he gets like a festival thrown in his name, and he's like, "Wow, they really love me." And then if you remember in part 1, it's like, "Who is this guy? Is he a criminal?" It's like, and then Peter is like, obviously with the symbiote, like he's like really becoming arrogant, and he's like, "Yeah, like of course they should love me." And then by him getting the symbiote, it just enhances those feelings and shit, which causes him to become Bully Maguire. But I really wish they dug into Peter being a more arrogant. That shit, that was cool, man. Spider-Man 3 has glimpses. It has little details that if it was dug into a little bit more, it was like, oh, we haven't really seen this before.
But that's the type of shit where I'm just like, yo, I'm so mad they made him put shit into the movie, because like, so I was like, yo, there was a lot of like, it started off so good, and there was like a lot of things that really, if they had the time, like you're saying, they could have really dug a little more into it, or really like kind of stretched it out.
Yeah.
To land that plot, like, okay, that happened, that led to this, and then boom, this happened, and he became or got that experience in this thing because of that situation. Like little shit like that,
Yeah.
It's very vague, but hopefully that makes sense.
No, I got you.
Because like they kind of touched on it, but like they tied it back to Mary Jane, where he was enjoying the love from the city more than he was enjoying the love from her at that point. And that's just like another example of Spider-Man Peter Parker. It's like, do I want this? Do I want that? Which one is worth it? Like, how do I balance both? And it's
Yeah.
just always a constant reminder that he can't.
Yeah.
Always a constant. There is no way to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
So like, yeah,
another
go ahead.
point another point that I wanted to hit on before we move on is you said something a little earlier that was very interesting to me. You said how like when Peter and Harry were fighting in the beginning of Spider-Man 3, like it revisited the beginning and everybody knew it was coming because obviously Harry is Norman's son. But that gets me to start about trilogies in general. What I wish and I want to see, I'm sure there are movies like that out there, but I don't really know of any of them. But what I want to see in a trilogy, I want to see one day part three have nothing to do with part one of the trilogy, but that's able to stand on its own. Because every trilogy and every single movie that I know so far, it always has some element, something that connects to the beginning of the trilogy. And like the Scream movies, the Sam Raimi Spider-Mans, like that's always fascinated to me. I can't think of a part three of a trilogy that has nothing to do with the original one, but that's an actual good movie and is able to stand on its own. That's something I've always wanted to see and think of and yeah, see in front of me, see a movie about.
I think it's because they made the trilogy a thing, like beginning, middle, end, where like the third one is just wrapping up everything. So that puts them in that box. Well, they put themselves in that box. It doesn't have to end in a trilogy. Like I get it. Like Star Wars was a trilogy and it was super successful. So now that's the format. But like there was so many other like films that just had so many movies, and it just like you could have tied back shit, but like don't make it so like this is gonna wrap up everything, so we gotta go back to the beginning. Like it doesn't have to be that, you know. So like
Yeah,
that's a really good point that you bring up.
yeah, I've always
Um,
thought about that, man.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
my man, do you have any other thoughts about Spider-Man 3 that
I could go on, but I think I get the point.
I
I,
think
like you know, like I hate a lot of the same things, if not all the things you hate too.
right.
But the things I like about it, I really like, and I can really like dig deep into them. So, but yeah, I think I shared like a lot of the things that I really love and
I bet.
really
We're gonna move
why I
on.
have it at the spot that I do. But yeah,
I'm,
let's get
I'm, I'm not gonna say worst anymore, I promise. But
it.
what
Because I just the only reason I'm saying that is because like when we get to the top, you're gonna be like, and the first
no,
top least worst Spider-Man.
no, no, I wasn't gonna do that. I was like once we get to like four or no, I don't know. I wasn't gonna do that. I wasn't gonna do
I
that.
think I think I get what you're saying because like I think once we got to the top half, you would have not said it. So I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
because you're thinking like good, worst, like
Right, of
half
course,
half. Yeah,
of course.
but yeah, let's go.
Number five.
I'm curious about this. I'm curious about the rest of your list, honestly. But I think I know what your number five is.
Go ahead, take a guess. What do you think?
At number five, I, Ariel, have The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Let's go.
I knew it. I knew it, boy.
Boy. Let's go. All right. So let me get this out of the way because we both talked about Amazing Spider-Man 2 already, but there's one detail that we have not mentioned.
Yeah.
The death of fucking Gwen Stacy. That's why it's in my top five, bro. The Sam Raimi movies, they didn't attempt it. The Tom Holland movies, the Tom Holland movies, as far as MJ forgetting Peter, is sort of kind of like a death, but not really. But no, the Amazing Spider-Man
That can't
movie,
that can't be your sole purpose, bro. To have it in your top five.
sole purpose, my boy. That's the only reason why. That's the only reason why it's in my top five.
I respect it. I
No,
respect it.
obviously, you don't.
respect it because it is a really amazing scene.
No,
and
bro, it's not just the scene.
Wrap up.
It's not this. The scene is amazing. Put that to the side. Put the scene to the side. The reason why it's in the top 5 is once again Sam Raimi movies and the MCU Spider-Man movies. They didn't attempt to 100% kill off Peter's love interest, bro.
But Gwen's the only one who dies, though.
But Gwen is Peter's love interest. Gwen is Peter's MJ.
But she literally dies in the books. So why would they kill off Mary Jane? She doesn't die. That's what I'm trying to say.
I get. Okay, I feel you.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying though. But I'll let you go. Let me let you cook.
I feel what you're saying, and like you just said, you understand what I'm saying. I really appreciate that a lot. Like I remember being in the theater and I remember watching that scene. First of all, I wasn't even thinking. I was like, that's how much it got me because I was just watching and I was like, I wasn't realizing what I was watching. And then after, oh my God, after the graveyard scene where you see him in front of Gwen Stacy's tombstone from like the spring to the summer to the fall to the winter, after that scene, I was like, that's when I came to the realization. I was like, oh shit, they really killed off Gwen Stacy. Like, I understand that they did in the comic books, so like it wasn't a huge surprise, I guess. But I mean, still, nobody else tried it. Nobody else attempted it. These dudes were like, nah, we're going for it. We're going for it. Dude, that shit was so amazing. And now let's get into the acting. Bro, I think I texted you that scene like 20 times in one day, bro. Andrew Garfield, dog. Andrew Garfield. What? What? Don't leave me. What? Don't leave me. What? I can't do this with the. Oh. Boy.
Wake up, Gwen. You know, he killed it. He killed it.
Boy.
He bodied that. But the dude is a fucking thespian. He's amazing. He's super talented. But
100%.
He ate that. He
fucking bodied that. And I think we talked about this in the No Way Home podcast, how like in preparing for that scene, he didn't want to talk to Emma. He didn't want to see Emma. So like, yo, I don't want to see you for a couple weeks because when we
I didn't know that until you said it. So that was really cool that you shared that.
So like, yeah, if you want to hear what that story is, just go check out that episode. But yeah, honestly, man, like, okay, and as far as the movie, Amazing Spider-Man 2, I agree with you. The story, the transition from part 1 to part 2, it was way too much of a drastic difference. Your opinion of Harry Osborn and Dane DeHaan, that's your opinion. I personally think that he did okay. I like the actor. I like Dane DeHaan. Damn, my boy. Trash though?
Harry, trash.
Oh, I wasn't mad at it. I wasn't mad at it. I didn't like the transformation and like the way he looked on the glider and like his whole like, I mean, I get what they were going for. He's supposed to be a goblin, so, but I wasn't. Yeah. But yeah, that's the only reason why it's number 5, bro, because of the swing that they took, and the acting in that scene, and that's it, bro. That's it, bro.
I'm so mad at you for having it at number 5 just because of that.
Dog,
I respect it.
Yo, it's my list, boy. It's my list, dog. It's my list, bro. It's my list, dog. I don't care. You can fight me. You know what? If you got a problem with my list, I'm not talking just to you right now. I'm talking about anybody watching this or listening. If you got a problem with my list, at me on Instagram, on Twitter. I'll get into the comments. I'll get into the shits, bro. We could get into it. But that's my list.
You will reply.
We'll reply, bro. All right, my dog.
What, like, is there? All right, because I know you always drive it home about like the Gwen Stacy scene, and I agree with you. It was amazingly acted, shot, the build up, even the oh shit, they actually did it. Like,
right.
I had that feeling too because I knew that Gwen Stacy dies. I knew Gwen Stacy dies on a bridge with the Goblin. I saw Goblin. I saw Gwen. I did not know they were gonna do it. So I that shit hit me the same way. I was like, oh shit. And the way they did it, like, that was extreme, bro. Like a fucking head just bounced off the floor and you hear that shit. I was just like, yo, they really did that?
Yeah.
It was insane. But is there like anything else in the movie that really like helped you like put it over all these other films that you did?
Um, Honestly, no. But now that I'm thinking about it, the visual effects you mentioned that earlier, but like rewatching this movie, the visual effects are elite,
Yeah,
super
yeah,
elite. They're really good, bro. Like all the scene, the ending fight scene between him and Electro before Electro dies.
yeah, yeah.
Um, that was like legit, bro. And then Times Square, where Spider-Man faces off Electro for the very first time
Oh, that was sick. When he
with the web.
spread out the webs, that was
Yeah,
sick, man. That
super
was sick.
fire. Super fire. Yeah, man, the visual effects were like top notch. And I think I agree with you. I think it's the best out of all Spider-Man movies, every single
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
So I'll throw that in there. Um, and the chemistry between Emma and Andrew, top notch before Gwen Stacy dies. Um,
How did you feel about Norman?
we didn't really get enough of him to get.
Right?
We didn't get enough of him for me to have a judgment. Honestly,
Yeah.
we get like one scene of him in the bed talking to his son.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty
I
much
just
it.
like I kind of wish they showed a little bit more, you know.
No,
So
100%. So okay, so real quick, the reason why I'm not necessarily mad at Dane DeHaan and Harry Osborn because Harry
oh fuck
Osborn, right?
that.
Oh Jesus. The reason why is that
Horrible, bro.
obviously Harry Osborn is he's rich because his father Oscorp Corporation and he's the son of Norman Osborn, so he's a rich kid, private schools, all the rich and famous lavish lifestyle, obviously. Dane DeHaan the I like because when you see him come back from I think it was private school or some shit like that, right? That's the reason why he
I
wasn't
think
in New York.
so.
When you
I think
see him
so.
come back, he has like sunglasses, his hair is like parted, he has a three-piece suit on. He portrayed that very well. And he's
I
a good
agree.
he's a good looking guy. Like it's not I'm not scared to say it. I'm comfortable in my sexuality, you heard? But but he's a good looking dude, yo. And the way he portrayed that, I was like, I'm believing it. I believe it. Rich kid, the sunglasses, the hair parted. But then, then later on in the movie, it's a little iffy. But
I I agree with you on that. Like when he first shows up in the movie, I was like, damn, like am I tripping? Is he actually pretty solid in this? First scene, like you said, sunglasses, he's in the room with all these people, and he's just like, I guess I'm gonna run the company now. Like I thought that was cool. But then like when Peter shows up, it was the most awkward shit. It was supposed to be, but it never got better. It was just awkward. They had no chemistry. Like they didn't really work well on screen together. And Andrew was just like killing it. And I'm just like, it's just so bad. And then like it just keeps going downhill. The more angry he gets, it's just like
real quick, do you remember the scene? Do you remember the scene right after Peter shows up to the mansion and he confronts Harry for the first time? He's like, "Oh, I didn't know you were back." Do you remember the scene right after where they're like walking in like a park?
and he's like, yeah, you know, I remember that because Andrew Garfield randomly climbs over the gate. And I was like, yo, that's mad funny. That's cool as hell.
What was he
but it was
doing? What was he
but it was
doing?
awkward. Yeah.
So awkward. I was like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
Did you
Yeah.
like it?
No, I in a playful, like he's just playing around, I liked it. But it was very much an emphasis on what I'm saying. These niggas were awkward and just
I don't.
like didn't have chemistry.
I don't think you could put that on the chemistry between Dane DeHaan and him. I think that was just Andrew Garfield like trying something, and I'm like, nah, bro. Like, I think that was just Andrew Garfield trying something with a character.
I
I don't.
think so, but like he could have tried it because of the whole, oh, this is awkward between us. Let me try to make it a little less tense and awkward. Like it was stupid, bro. I
You
always
just
laugh at it. I'm like, why did he do that?
you giving my man no credit, bro. Just no credit, dog.
Bro. I agreed with you on when he first shows up in the movie. Like I thought he did a nice job. Like it was cool. Like he fit that. But like after that, when you learn more about his like where his mind is, it was whack. But like that, when you don't know anything about him, he shows up secretive, blah, 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 business. I agree.
Yeah, I feel you, man. I feel
Like
you.
when they got more into it, you just needed to get more depth, more emotional, like acting from him. Like, nah, he bombs.
I feel you. What have you seen? I'm pretty sure you've seen this movie, but you've seen Place Beyond the Pines?
Mm-mm. I haven't. No,
You never seen Place Beyond the Pines?
no. Is he in it?
Okay, so
Is he the
I'm
main
a huge
character?
Ryan Gosling fan. Ryan Gosling and Shia
Oh, that's
LaBeouf.
that one.
What up?
I know this movie. Yes.
Have you seen it?
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay.
I've wanted to though.
So he plays. I'm not even gonna tell you what it's about. He's in it. I'll tell you that. But dude, he fucking kills it in that movie, bro. And I think I was very hyped to see him in a more because Place Beyond the Pines is very indie, and obviously the Spider-Man movie is a studio movie. And I was very excited to see his portrayal of a character in like a studio movie. I didn't think it was terrible, but that's why I fuck with Dane DeHaan because dude, you need to watch that movie, bro. That movie is so good.
I'll
But
check it out. It's one of the ones I've always wanted to check out, but I know it got like mixed reviews. I think.
yeah, yo, straight up, I actually didn't like the movie the first time I saw it. I didn't like it, and then when I watched it at least like two more times, it really
I
grew on
think
me.
you told me this.
I think so, yeah.
I think when you were still in New York, we were talking because we were talking about Gosling a lot, and we were talking about Drive and how much we loved it.
Yeah.
And you mentioned this movie, and I was like, "Oh, I've been wanting to see this one because it looks super dope." Excuse me. And you were telling me you didn't like it, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Damn."
I didn't
I
like
was
it.
like, "If you don't like it, I'm probably not gonna like it."
Nah, bro, it's good, bro. It's good. I don't know.
I'll check it out.
I know why I know why I didn't like it the first time. I'm not gonna tell you anything because it kind of spoils it. But I know
Mhm.
why I didn't like it the first time. But after I watched it at least like two more times, dude, it's fucking legit.
I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna check it out.
You check it out. But yeah, yeah, man. So that's it. That's all I got. So number five, I got Amazing Spider-Man Part Two. That's my
All
number
right.
five. Talk to me, my boy. What you
Let's go on
got?
to mine. My number five is Spider-Man.
The first one, the very first one.
My son is like, no, I haven't finished.
Oh.
Spider-Man Homecoming.
I was nervous. I was like, oh my god, he has the original all the way down.
So,
All right.
nah. Hell fucking no. Never. Spider-Man Homecoming.
Okay.
Um, I like the movie a lot, but it has moments, but overall, a forgettable film for me. Um,
I agree on that.
doesn't mean it's not bad. Doesn't mean it's bad. You know, like if I watch it, I always enjoy it. It has moments. It pushes his story forward after Civil War, which is when we first see him. Picks up right after. It very much establishes who this Peter is, where he's starting, where he wants to go, where he is actually going. Like it gives you all of that. It was hard for me to come to terms with him not being in Manhattan. That's a big thing for me with that movie. It's a big deal. He wasn't in Manhattan. He was, like you said, he was like super innocent and he's just trying to do the most. So that came off like a little bit annoying at some points. I did like him like finding out and figuring out his suit. It reminded me of Iron Man a little bit, where he's just like testing shit. He's doing dumb shit.
Are you talking about when he's in the warehouse and he's stuck for a few hours, and he's talking
That,
to
but
her.
like throughout the movie too, because like remember when he found out about the truck and he's talking to Karen and he finds out the name is Karen, like all that shit. I'm just like, oh, that's kind of funny. But some people didn't like it because it's very like Iron Man-esque. So like I get that, but you know, Iron Man is my guy, so I enjoyed that a little bit.
Yeah.
I enjoyed him being in high school, like OD, like
Right.
the dynamic between him and the other kids who are very much a big part of the movie, like the party that he goes to, and then he just like, yo, get your suit, da-da-da, like all that shit.
I really now that you bring it up, the party. I remember the party. He was like contemplating showing up as Spider-Man because everybody wanted to see Spider-Man. And then I remember him telling Ned, he was like, "Yo, Spider-Man is not a magic trick. I don't
right.
that shit was so annoying. I'm like, why are you even thinking about it? Like, no, you don't like he's right. Like, don't even think about it. Don't fucking use Spider-Man to try and hook up with a girl in high school. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
it's not what it's about. Like that shit really annoyed the crap out of me.
Yeah. There's those little moments, like you say, like he's a kid. And they're very much setting the groundwork of this is really a kid with these responsibilities. I mean, with these powers, and this is how he views it. Even like when he went to Germany for the fight in Civil War, like that wasn't like it was serious shit between adults, but he had really no idea. So he's just having fun. He sees it as like a huge superhero party of these people that he sees and models himself after.
Yeah.
But like he doesn't know the real consequences. Tony doesn't tell him everything. So for him to go back and then just be like, oh, like, yeah, so like it very much sets that tone.
Yeah.
But like to your point, sometimes it's like it's annoying sometimes.
Yeah.
Shocker was cool to see. Scorpion was in there. I like Robert Downey's role in it.
Yeah.
Very like in and out, but like very much like reminding you that Peter is still a kid and the Spider-Man thing is almost like a toy to him, to your point. Like it's like a toy. Fun.
I really liked how they incorporated Iron Man into Homecoming, and it didn't feel like it didn't feel like Iron Man's movie. Like it was really still Spider-Man movie. And Iron Man does have an important part in like giving him knowledge about being a superhero, but it didn't feel like he was like overshadowing Spider-Man at all, which was really dope. I like they balanced it really well.
Nope. That was like a lot people were really worried about that when they started marketing Robert Downey. But yeah, like I agree, like he wasn't in it heavily. Also, when he the fairy, he's like, yo, if you cared, you'd be here right now. That motherfucker said, I was like, oh shit. Boy, he came out that suit. I was like, yo, it's like when your dad shows up and you just like, oh shit. I just broke that shit. He showed up right now, bro. That shit was insane. And like the dialogue right there, like after that, where he's just like, I wanted to be you. He's like, and I want you to be better. I was like, oof. Like, oh man, he killed it, bro. Killed it.
That was a really good scene.
Yeah, killed it. He's just like, yo, give me the suit. He's just like, nah, I'm not budging. Give me the suit. He sent them home with a little t-shirt. Like it was great, man. It was great.
Yeah, that was a really good scene.
The third act was really good with Vulture and him stealing the jet and all that shit, and then just Peter trying to like reroute it. And he's just like in his own suit. And when he gets his ass beat in the warehouse and he has to make his way out of there, like all that stuff was really cool. And then like even like when Vulture is like just going crazy at the end and Peter realizes like, damn, like this is just another human being. This is the girl I like. This is her father. Yeah. Like that conflict, always Peter Parker, Spider-Man, they always bring it back. Like, yo, this person is in both of my lives.
Yeah.
And this is her father, like, you know? So he just gets to that point where he tries to save him. And he's just not listening. and he's just like, damn, like that's like him really becoming Spider-Man. Like those little moments, shit like that. But yeah, man, great movie. But like I said, it's just like kind of forgettable when it comes to like that trilogy, at least, especially.
Yeah, out of that trilogy, I think me and you agree that that's number 3.
Yeah, for sure.
I also wanna spot out. So in Homecoming, Peter's love interest, that girl, her
Lizzie?
mom, Lizzie is her name.
I think her name is Lizzie. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Liz Toombs, Elizabeth. I think. Yeah.
Do you remember who her mom was? The actress? It was
I can't remember.
it was Fancy from Jamie Foxx show, Marcel Buveau or something like that.
Okay.
So I've always had a thing for her.
Shit.
I love her. She's bad.
Yeah, man.
Okay. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm just trying to remember because I was like, once you mentioned like, yo, remember who she? I'm like, I remember it being a familiar face. I'm still trying to put the face on the name.
Yeah,
but
I always had
yeah, man. Solid movie. Michael Keaton. No words. We talked about the taxi scene, which is the best scene in the movie by far.
Yeah, that scene was sick. Super sick.
Yeah. Great movie, man. Solid movie. Good start. But yeah, that's my number 5.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the end of this episode of the Time Flies podcast. We've been going for a while, so right now we gave our 8 through 5 Spider-Man movies. It's gonna be very interesting moving forward. But before we sign off,
it's gonna get good. That's what it's gonna get good.
Before we sign off, Rainer, man, yo, shout out your socials and all that stuff. If you want people to contact you, send you a little DM about the Spider-Man movies and how much they hate your Harry Osborn take.
Absolutely, man. Hey, I'm always on top of these things. I'm switching gears a little bit because with what the MCU is doing lately, there's a lot of little secrets that I just really want to enjoy when I go into the movies. So like, as Dario knows, like I won't really watch trailers anymore. Maybe I'll watch like one teaser or something like that. But sometimes I do run into things and I do follow these pages. So I will have some cool info if you guys want to follow, and I'll recommend pages. Twitter at Breeze Riches. That is BreezeRiches. Instagram, Breeze Riches as well, spelled the same exact way. Yeah, give me a holler. I'm always down to just chop it up with people about movies and sports, just like the Time Flies podcast. But yeah, hit me up.
Big facts.
And make sure you listen to this podcast and share it.
Hey.
Not just this episode, not just that episode, but all episodes. We here.
My guy right there. And if you're watching the episode right now, you can see that my guy Rainer is wearing a special edition Time Flies hoodie. He's part of the Time Flies gang, you heard?
Oh, come on now.
Look at that. I appreciate that, my boy.
For sure, man.
Yo, man, yeah. So very last thing before I sign off, I want to thank you for participating in this podcast episode. I appreciate your time, your energy, giving into this. Yeah, man. Like whenever we talk about movies, superheroes, and of course, I'm gonna have you on for other stuff too. But this is just what I have going on right now, and you're one of, if not the only person I think about when I'm talking about like superhero movies. I really want to get your take and your thoughts and your insights. So yeah, man, I just appreciate you. Thank you very much for all your time and energy, dog.
Likewise, man. Thank you for having me. Always good to chop it up. Yeah, anytime, man. Always here to support and definitely have conversations about especially superhero movies.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Much appreciated. All right, so before we sign off, very last thing, you guys can check out Time Flies on a slew of things. You can also check out the Spider-Man poster. My guy Rainer. That's a dope poster, though.
That's me, y'all.
I'm
That's baby.
trying. I'm trying. That's dope. That's dope. Time flies. You can catch time flies on Instagram. Time flies at 1221. Time flies on Twitter. That's time flies 1221. I got a website. You could catch the dad hat. You could catch a little tote bag. That's timestaysflying.bigcartel.com. And you can check out the YouTube channel. I'm growing the YouTube channel. Please, if you watch it, please subscribe. Leave a comment. You know, like my man Mike says, shout out my boy Mike. Keep it tasteful. Don't be rude. You know, just leave a comment. I like to start conversations. And as well, man, you podcast. Please subscribe to the podcast, rate, review, comment, all that good stuff. So until next time, we'll check you out on the next episode of Time Flies Podcast. Peace.